It is Thursday, December 10. Welcome to CGN News. A judge Wednesday ordered a man to be registered as a sex offender after he was convicted of 6 counts of having sex with a female under the age of 14. Everton Joseph is the father of her 3 children after getting her pregnant at 12, 14, and 18. He will become the first person to be registered in Trinidad following Wednesday's virtual ruling. The judge, St. Clair Douglas, warned that men who engage in such acts cannot use the defense that the child was precocious. He said that even while acknowledging that the victim was a willing participant, she was 12 years old at the first encounter, and Joseph, who was 24, should have known better and done better. The Barbados government says there is no child labor on the island, even as a UNICEF survey points to a 2.3% incident rate. Labor Minister Colin Jordan explained that what the data showed was that children were involved in household chores. He told a child labor seminar that it was traditional for children to assist with chores and in family-owned businesses. However, he said such actions did not account for children missing classes because of work. The minister credited the strides made in protecting children from child labor to the enforcement of the Education Act. The Caribbean Examinations Council, the CXC, says that based on its analysis, it is not recommended that they reduce the content coverage for their exams, but that they proceed with a delayed sitting. CXC has also proposed to return to using the regular format of the exams, Paper 1, Paper 2, and the SBAs with 100% moderation. As a result of the pandemic, CXC had modified the 2020 exams. Jamaica's Education Minister, Favour Williams, told Parliament that concerns have been expressed about the ability of students to complete these exams successfully. Further negotiations with the CXC are in progress. Jamaica's opposition Member of Parliament, Michael Phillips, is calling for a referendum on replacing the Queen as head of state. This, he says, should be pinned to the local government elections due by February 2022. Phillips, the son of former opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips, made the request in a motion tabled in the House of Representatives Wednesday. He says a public education exercise on the desirability of changing to a republic system should be carried out. Following that, the country should have a national referendum to approve the change. Cash-strapped Cuba said on Tuesday that it had attracted $1.9 billion worth of foreign investment over the past year despite tighter United States sanctions. Trade Minister Rodrigo Malmierza told an online news conference that Cuba continues to reduce internal obstacles to investors. He said the 34 investments approved on the island since October 2019 were no small feat given the economic war being waged by the Trump administration. The foreign capital attracted was slightly more than last year's. Overseas now, U.S. President-elect Joe Biden's son Hunter says his tax affairs are under investigation by federal prosecutors in Delaware. Hunter Biden said he was confident an objective review would show he had handled his affairs legally and appropriately. The Biden-Harris transition team said the president-elect was deeply proud of his son. A statement from the team said Hunter had fought through difficult challenges, including the vicious personal attacks of recent months, only to emerge stronger. Hunter Biden said he learned of the investigation on Tuesday. People with a history of significant allergic reactions should not have the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID jab, regulators say. It came after 2 NHS workers had allergic reactions on Tuesday. The advice applies to those who have had reactions to medicines, food, or vaccines, according to the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency. They apparently had a reaction which involves a skin rash, breathlessness, and sometimes a drop in blood pressure. Both workers have a history of serious allergies and carry adrenaline pens around with them. Federal regulations on Wednesday sued to force a breakup of Facebook. This as 48 states and districts accuse the company of abusing its market power in social networking to crush smaller competitors. The antitrust lawsuits were announced by the Federal Trade Commission and New York Attorney General Letitia James. The FTC asked a court to force Facebook to sell off its Instagram and WhatsApp messaging services. Facebook is the world's biggest social network with 2.7 billion users. The company has a market value of nearly $800 billion. A top public health official in Africa has said it will be extremely terrible to see rich countries receiving COVID-19 vaccines while African countries go without it. As the world watches mass vaccinations begin in Britain, Africa Centers for Disease Control warned Thursday that Africa might not see vaccines until after the second quarter of 2021. The remarks come a day after a People's Vaccine Alliance report warned that 90% of the population in dozens of poorer countries will miss out on the vaccine next year. The reports said rich countries have hoarded enough to vaccinate their entire populations nearly 3 times over. The wealth of America's billionaires has risen by more than $1 trillion since the start of the pandemic, the Institute for Policy Studies and Americans for Tax Fairness, ATF, reports. The collective wealth of the 651 billionaires in the U.S. soared from $2.95 trillion on March 18 to $4.01 trillion on Monday. Frank Clement, ATF executive, said their pandemic profits are so immense that the billionaires could pay for a major COVID relief bill and still not lose a dime of their pre-virus riches. On Tuesday, the White House unveiled a $916 billion stimulus proposal in a final dash to break a months-long impasse over new aid for the coronavirus-stricken U.S. economy. That's it for CGN News. I'm Scott Wilson. Thanks for watching.